Hello and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. And in this video we're going to start looking at the Rivals of Ixalan Planeswalker deck, so this is part 2 of the original Ixalan block. I'm going to start off by looking at Angrath, Minotaur Pirate, which is a black and red deck. So we've got the deck list here, so 25 creatures, 4 sorceries, 5 instants, 1 artifact, 24 land, and of course a single planeswalker, and we've got a mana curve off to the side there. So let's just start taking a look at the contents of the deck. So we're going to start off by looking at the big old Minotaur Pirate himself, Angrath. So 4 black and a red for a 5 loyalty planeswalker, that's actually kind of standard, given these planeswalker decks so far. And yeah, let's go through his ability. So he's got a +2. He does 1 damage to target opponent, each creature that player controls. That's fairly solid, I think, just to just do a one-sided, essentially what I was going to say tremor, but tremor doesn't hit things with flying. But like essentially a one-sided, like pestilence or pyrohemia like that. That's actually pretty good, I think, just to sweep X1s out of the way and just ping a bit of damage onto the opponent. I think that's actually pretty solid. I actually quite like that. And there's -3 is return a pirate from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yep, so the deck has got a really, I mean, like pretty much all the creatures in the deck are pirates. So yeah, that's obviously the tribal interaction there. The fact it's like straight back onto the battlefield is actually really nice. That's a full-on reanimation effect is pretty solid. I quite like that. And then his -11. Destroy all creatures target opponent controls. Angrath, Minotaur Pirate deals damage to that player equal to the total power, which is, I mean, that's probably a game ender there, isn't it? Just to do a one-sided one-sided wrath and then also a ton of burn damage. Yeah, really like all of Angrath's abilities. Actually, this is one of the just none of those abilities I look at and be like, oh, that's kind of whatever. Yeah, really like all those abilities. So yeah, he's actually in the running for one of my favourite planeswalkers we've looked at so far in this series. And then we have his signature cards. So his search, the Angrath's Fury, is really good actually. So 3 a black and a red, sorcery speed. So it is like still sorcery speed, and it is in 2 colours, so it's a little bit awkward. But destroy target creature, and it does 3 damage to target player, and you still search up for Angrath. So this is like compared to like a lot of the other search spells we've seen, this is really good. That fact that it's removal and some burn and the search, like yeah, compared to like some of the other stuff we've seen, really like compare this to Actually, I was going to say compare it to Huatley's, but that I feel like that's actually an okay, because Huatley's at least is like a biggish creature, which stays on the board. There's definitely been worse ones in there. If you can think of like, I don't think it's hard to think of a worse one than this one. This is really solid because it's just straight up removal and the burn and yes, the search. So yeah, really like Angrath's Fury actually. Then 3 Angrath's Ambusher, 2 in a black for a 2/3 Orc Pirate. Gets +2/+0 as long as you control a Angrath Planeswalker. Very straightforward, very boring. It's just most of the time it's just going to be a 2/3 for 3, which is not very good. Obviously, no abilities or anything. Just another example of why these Planeswalker buddy cards are just not very good, I think, or like they definitely need to be pushed a bit more, But anyway. And then 4 Swab Golem, which is just 2 mana for a 2/2. It's just a red grizzly bear, isn't it? But at least it's still a pirate, I suppose. I don't think you have a huge number of pirate tribal effects actually in the deck. Maybe a few, from what I remember. But yeah, obviously it's just very boring, isn't it? And we're definitely at the stage in the game where red can definitely have better than this. So that's really disappointing actually. Real waste of a card slot, I think, in the deck to have 4 of them. Right, so then the rest of the cards, let's say massively heavy pirate theme throughout the deck. So we've got 2 Dire Fleet Captains, black and red for a 2/2. Whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end turn for each other attacking pirate. So yeah, the strat is black red aggro. It's just play a bunch of pirates and just keep swinging with them because a lot of them, as we'll see later, well, a lot of them, some of them, as we'll see later, have the raid ability, which we last saw all the way back in Kanzataki on the Mardu. So it's really nice it came back in Ixalan and was used for the pirates. But yeah, Dire Fleet Captain's obviously okay. And, at the very least it is a 2/2, but most of the time it's going to be a lot more and be able to punch up. So that's nice. A single Dire Fleet Neckbreaker, 2 a black and red for a 3/2. Attacking pirates you control get +2/+0. This is really nice, like a orcish Oriflamme effect, I suppose, or just like a constant trumpet blast. Yeah, this is just really nice. Obviously gives the ability to itself as well, so it's a 5/2 when it attacks. So yeah, this is really nice tribal effect. Really would have been nice to have more than one, but it is what it is. A single Daring Buccaneer, 1 red mana for a 2/2. As additional cost to cast Daring Buccaneer, reveal a pirate from your hand or pay an extra 2. So these this one there's a whole cycle, and they remind me of the way back in Lorwyn. There was a whole cycle of these creatures where you could cast them for cheap if you revealed a a creature of the same creature type, or you had to pay the extra mana. And typically like revealing revealing card, like revealing information, is not ideal, but the fact that this is so cheap, and like you could potentially do it, like if you had 2 of these, it'd be nice actually, because you reveal 1 and then cast the other one, whatever. But yeah, this is obviously okay, I suppose. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Of course, obviously huge tribal theme, because Ixalan obviously has a really big tribal theme to it anyway. But yeah, it's all right. It is just a 2/2 though. So then we've got 2 Stormfleet Pyromancers, 4 and a red for a 3/2. Has Raid. When it enters the battlefield, if you attack with a creature this turn, Stormfleet Pyromancer deals 2 damage to target creature or players. That's nice. 3/2 comes in, does shock on something. That's really nice. So having the Raid obviously pushes you towards like being really aggressive with the deck and just attacking. 2 Swaggering Corsairs, 2 and a red for a 2/2. Enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter if you've attacked with a creature this turn, so potentially just be a 3/3 for 3, which is alright, I suppose. And then 2 Headstrong Brute, 2 and a red for a 3/3. Can't block and has Menace as long as you control another pirate. You almost certainly will. So yeah, 3/3 with Menace for 3 is pretty solid. It can't block, but it doesn't really matter. If it's got Menace, you're going to want to be swimming with it anyway. So yeah, these are all okay. These are all okay red common pirates, And they've got 2 Fathom Fleet Border, 2 and a black for a 3/3. When it ends the battlefield, you lose 2 life unless you control another pirate. You almost certainly will. So this is not really much of a drawback to get a 3/3 just for 3. Kind of kind of reminds me of the old Serpent Warrior, actually, which used to be a 3/3 for 3, but you always lost 3 life. So yeah, how far we've come. A single Fathom Fleet Cutthroat, 3 and a black for a 3/3. When it ends the battlefield, destroy target creature an opponent controls that was dealt damage this turn. So we see this effect in black quite a lot. This kind of fatal blow ability, like you kill off a creature that's already taken damage. Yep, this is all right, I suppose, because it is potentially like 4 mana for a 3/3 that like kills a creature that's been involved in combat in some way, or has taken some burn, perhaps from Angrath maybe. So yeah, that's okay. And then a single Grasping Scoundrel, 1 black mana for a 1/1, has +1/+0 as long as it's attacking. So it's technically a 2/1 in black, I suppose, for 1 black mana, which is all right with no other drawbacks. So yeah, it's all right. Again, obviously the ability is pushing you to be aggressive with it and attack with it. So yeah, that's okay. Again, these are all fine common black pirates. And they've got 2 Goblin Trailblazer, just 1 and a red for a 2/1 Menace, which is, again, absolutely fine, like nice and evasive, so you can be aggressive with it. And then, this really annoys me, 2 Gilded Sentinels, and like, there were definitely enough black and red, like, common pirates to fill this slot, so I'm guessing this was put in just because, like, because you're playing a 2-color deck, so you might not be able to get your colors, so at least here's a reliable cards, the reliable 4-drop, but like this is obviously the easy first cut because it just has no synergy with anything in the deck really. So yeah, really disappointing there. Definitely could have been a pirate. And then non-creature spells, we've got a single Impale, 2 and double black, sorcery speed, destroy target creature. That's obviously expensive and slow, but we're sort of at the point in the game where like this kind of just straight up this removal, there was a bit of a push for it, I think, making it less aggressively costed, like making it a bit slower or like higher rarity if it was like cheaper and more efficient. Obviously it's not fair to compare this to Murder, but I will, because obviously it's terrible compared to Murder. But yeah, I mean, 4 mana, destroy a creature. I mean, like it's still not awful, is it? It's just obviously slow and a bit clunky. 2 Lightning Strike though, which is brilliant. 1 red does 3 damage to target creature or player at instant speed. Yep, we like Lightning Strike. Lightning Strike's great. And then 3 Sure Strike. So having like these combat tricks are really good, obviously, because again it keeps pushing you to be aggressive and attacking with the pirates. So 1 red to give a creature +3/+0 and first strike until end turn, which is like a really huge buff. Like really lets some stuff like really punch up and take down much bigger creatures, or even just sneak in and do the extra damage and kind of like win out of nowhere. Because +3 power is like not is pretty significant as a boost. So yeah, like there's 3 of those actually. And then the 2 rares of the deck. So 1 is Repeating Barrage. So 1 and double red does 3 damage to target creature or player at instant speed at sorcery speed, which is like right off the bat that's not ideal. But then it has raid. So you can pay 3 colours and double red, return it from your graveyard to your hand, but only if you attacked with a creature this turn. So if you are a veteran player, you might remember Hammer of Bogarden, like all the way back from like it was definitely in a few core sets, I think, but like Visions or Mirage, which had a sort of a similar ability to this, where it's kind of slow and dirtily to play, but it is recursive, and that makes it really valuable. That is like this recursive burn that can hit creatures or players. And as long as you keep attacking, you can keep recurring this and like keep playing it. It's sort of a bit dirtly, but like yeah, I think like you've only really got to play it like twice really to get like some value. As long as you like keep playing it, it's fine, you know. And it's not like flashback. Like it's not like you cast it once and go. It is going back to your hand, so you can just kind of keep doing it. As long as you keep paying for it. So yeah, I think it's okay. But like I think I would have preferred just like a rare like pirate creature, and we'll see in the what could have been. There was a few options there. And the other rare is Vanquish's Banner. So 5 mana artifact. When it ends the battlefield, choose a creature type. Obviously golems, right, to go with your Gilded Sentinel. Creature control of the chosen type get +1/+1. And whenever you cast a creature spell of the chosen type, draw a card. So obviously super good tribal effect. Like this, I feel like this is a card that just belongs in literally any kind of tribal deck. Yeah, because it just turns every creature. It's an anthem effect and turns every creature into a card draw. So yeah, really solid. Really like this. Obviously, it is expensive, but yeah, pretty good late game, I suppose. If you're especially a fairly aggressive black-red deck, if you're kind of running out of gas, at least you're drawing cards off the pirates. So you could just kind of it's good. I like it. That's the better of the two rares, I think. And then 4 Cinder Barrens, which is the black-red tap land, and then 11 mountains and 9 swamps. Yeah. So let's talk about what could have been. So yeah, the selection of pirates in here is sort of okay. I don't feel it's too exciting. Some of them are quite bland. I feel I suppose they're just like efficiently costed, aren't they? I suppose just and the thing is, I say, like so many card slots are taken up by the Planeswalker signature cards. You actually don't have much room to play with. But let's talk about what could have been. So an alternate rare, Direfleet Poisoner. So 1 black for a 2/2 with Flash and Death Touch, and when it enters the battlefield, it gives an attacking pirate +1/+1 and Death Touch in return, which is quite nice. Kind of what's the one in Wilds of Eldraine that's quite similar to this? The Black Lance Paragon is it's quite similar to that, where it gives a attacking knight Death Touch or Lifelink, I think, something like that. Anyway, I'm going off topic, but this would have been a pretty fun card, I think. Just like have it serve as a combat trick essentially. On the subject of combat tricks, Buccaneer's Bravado would have been pretty cool, I think. So 1 red, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains first strike until end turn, or target pirate gets +1/+1 and gains double strike until end turn. So yeah, 2 mana to give something +1/+1 and double strike is obviously pretty solid. Yeah, so that could have been here, I think, quite easily. And Fanatical Firebrand, this I think would have been a really nice selection here. Actually, this would have been cool if this had been instead of the Swab Goblin, if this had been maybe Angrath's signature card, maybe. So 1 red mana for a 1/1 with haste. You can tap it and sacrifice it, does 1 damage to target creature or player. So it feels like definitely an upgrade over the very old Mog Fanatic, because it has haste and the sacrifice actually requires a tap. So in that case, it's actually in some ways a little worse than the old Mog Fanatic. But yeah, I think like it would have been a really good inclusion. Yeah. And then some more options. So another alternative rare we could have had is Angrath's Marauders, which I think like you got a deck about Angrath. Why not have his Marauders in it? So 5 and double red, so super expensive, but their effect is really good. So they're a 4/4, and if a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage, and we all like seeing something that doubles damage. So yeah, so would have been really expensive, but it's such a huge effect. I think it would have been pretty fun to include. Then we also got like Fiery Cannonade. So this is 2 and a red, instant speed, does 2 damage to each non-pirate creature. So again, it's like a one-sided like pyroclasm essentially for you. So yeah, this would have been, I think, a nice inclusion. And March of the Drowned, single black mana. So this is like what's from Innistrad? Ghoul Caller's Chant or something that either gets 1 creature back or gets 2 creatures of a certain type back. So yeah, it's like for 1 black man to get 2 dead pirates back from your graveyard, I think that would be really efficient, and especially in this deck where you're being really aggressive, and like your pirates are generally on the kind of frail side. They don't have super high toughness. This would have been really nice, I think, just to keep getting them back and replaying them. So that could have been a decent card to include, I think. Yeah, but overall, I think it's all right actually as a deck. It's actually really weird that it's a pirate deck with no cards that create treasure. That's actually a bit weird to me now thinking about it. That we had none. And like that's one of the most iconic things of Ixalan, right? The cards that produced treasure, because that's where treasure was kind of introduced and started becoming like really really popular. And like obviously now we have it all over the place these days. So it's really weird that wasn't included. But you know, aside from that, I think it's like a pretty decent black red kind of aggro deck. Obviously pirates are cool, so yeah, I actually quite like this one, and I think Angrath's card is actually pretty good for a one of these Planeswalker deck Planeswalkers. But yeah, I'd like to know what other people think of this deck. So if you have any thoughts or stories or comments, opinions about the deck or any of the cards in it, stick a comment below. I'll give those a read. But I'll be back next time. Go look at the last Rivals of Ixalan Planeswalker decks. But until then, thanks for watching and listening, and have a great day.